Hello friends, here with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm gonna play Renegade today. We come now to the third and possibly last stage of the game. We gotta fight this countermeasure here. It's called Hackman, and I'm not sure what actually the success of that will say, or the failure. Does it say, hey, you are the winner, respectively you are the loser, or does it give you one last thing to do? Guess we'll find out if we flip the card. So it says, the goal: delete the Hackman. The Hackman: stack one firewall on top of a replicator from the stock, or if needed, the network. Okay. While in play, this Hackman and all guardians act as firewalls. During your start of turn step, the Hackman teleports you to your partition and deletes any sparks there. Okay, I'm not absolutely sure actually what to do here. Stack one firewall. What? On top of a replicator from the stock? What is a stock? Does it mean these guys here? So I'm going to place a firewall on top of a replicator, right? While in play, when the Hackman... This Hackman and all guardians act as firewalls. During your start of turn step, the Hackman teleports you to your partition. What? Oh no, the Hackman teleports to your partition and deletes any sparks there. I don't get it. I don't understand that. Okay, well actually I do get it. It seems not to be so bad. So we gotta delete the Hackman. How is that possible? That's now the question. It acts as a firewall. Okay, so we gotta check how to delete a firewall. I don't know that yet. Let's find out. Okay, so I had to go through the rules a little bit here. And I think I found all the answers I needed, but I'm not absolutely sure. So first of all, we win the game if we survive this countermeasure card. So I think if we flip it, and there are no terrible consequences that would kill us, so basically anything that will place all the markers here or require us to place more than all the markers, then we probably could win the game. Second of all, I checked now a little bit the rules for flares and firewalls. Yeah, so here's the thing. Basically the firewalls don't allow avatars to enter the partition they are sitting in. That's the main problem. The flares, if they enter a space with a contaminant, they're kind of placed on top of that, and then they neutralize that contaminant and continue to act as sparks. And the contaminant will never be freed again, except if the contaminant is deleted, I think. And then both tokens are returned to the stock. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Now the interesting thing is how to delete a firewall. And that's pretty tricky because you're not allowed to enter the space of that firewall. So I think what you're supposed to do here, and that's not written in the rules, the basic action of deleting that thing remains the same. If I follow the rules here, it says important, flares are sparks and firewalls are guardians, but with additional enhancements. Anytime the cards or rules refer to sparks, they also refer to flares. Anytime the cards or rules refer to guardians, they also refer to firewalls. And now, if I go here to the infect action, it says clearly, the way you attack and delete a spark or guardian token at your avatar's partition is to infect it with viruses via destruction command points. So I guess that's the basic concept you also have to use against flares. Problem, of course, is you cannot share your space with a flare, with a firewall. So I guess the way you can do it is you can use these ghost action to do it. And that's then actually not a big deal, because if I am sitting on a neural hub like that, I think I can do, here it says remote via neural hub. While your avatar is on a partition with a neural hub token, it gains the ability to perform any action as if it were on any desired partition on that server by temporarily ghosting a copy of your avatar there. And then it clearly says here, after performing that action, your ghost avatar disappears. It is like you never have left that partition's neural hub, because you have not. So you don't leave that partition. That means basically that you don't, this rule, this restriction is not violated. The restriction that you're not allowed to share a partition with a firewall. Therefore, I think it's actually pretty easy, and let's see if we can do it. It should not be such big a deal. So first of all, this thing now teleports. Wait a minute. Ah, shit, I see a problem here. Seems like we have to place a third. That's kind of strange. Did I have forgot about that? Well, it seems like we have to place a third marker here. So we end up here now with a guardian, which sucks. And now that firewall is placed in here. And the moment these two guys, an avatar and a firewall, if they share the same space, then the avatar is teleported anywhere on the board. And we got to roll where he goes. Okay, that's what? Now that's an interesting thing, actually. It's exactly the same space as we are now. So we got to do it again. Okay, this time, and I think we were very lucky here, it's a 2 and green. So we simply add up here. And if I'm not mistaken, I can actually destroy that firewall right away. Well, first of all, I think, that's also interesting. Now here's the thing. Is that guardian really created here? It depends on on the timing of that card, because during the start of turn step, the Guardian is placed here and deletes any sparks there. So if I place that Guardian or that Firewall first here, then the Guardian would not be installed. I want to check that if there are any rules for that. Maybe I can also simply decide by myself. Okay, actually I found on BGG exactly that question, the combination of that card with that computer, and it says we can decide. Ricky answered the question himself, so therefore this thing is not formed, and we only have here now the firewall. That's even better, and I think, as I said, we should be able to win this now. So let's see what we got here. That's a good start. Yeah, awesome. That's exactly what we need. So I think what I want to do is I'm simply gonna play this as a movement action. By the way, do I have... Well, maybe I can even improve my odds here. Let me see. I can, I think... I think I can either get the sidekick, maybe the iteration is even better. Yeah, so I think I want to reveal a few cards, all these, that's just fine, and then I'm gonna remove this card from my deck. And get the iteration. And now we can do some serious overkill here, I think. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. So as I said, I'm going to use that to move over here. And now I'm going to ghost onto this partition here. It's on the same server, and I'm sitting on a neural hub. So what I'm going to do now is I'm simply going to go full in. Well, that might not even be necessary, but I'm going to attack now this thing here with an infect action. So we got a +1 from this virus here. I could even shift this sucker over there if I wanted to, but I think that's not necessary. Now we get a +2, so that's a +3. So we get a +7. We can even keep that one. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to add that. That's a +7. The other thing gets a +1. So we don't have to roll here. And that's it. I think that's actually it. This ghost action simply allows us to delete this guy. And yeah, that's it then. Was not too impressive, but I think that's actually how to do it. Okay, neat. And then we just have to play this to the end. Shouldn't be a big deal here. So I'm not even sure if I want to go through this now in every detail. I mean, basically what I want to try to do is I want to try to destroy as many of these sparks as possible. And the Guardians no longer act as firewalls because now the Hagman is destroyed. So yeah, basically I think I want to try to destroy a bunch of the sparks here on Faith, and maybe here on the yellow one, and that should not be too hard overall. So let's see how we can do that. Yeah, I think what I want to do is actually I think I want to use this iteration that's interesting. Yeah, I want to use the iteration to upload a data node, so then in the next player can install a data port there, which makes movement easier then. Okay, now it's oh shit, man, I forgot to add sparks during his turn. Let's hope that won't interfere with... Okay, yeah, that's okay. We had to add a spark here, so that's not too bad. Now we have to roll for new sparks for Hedy. That is 6, and it's the pink one, so that one goes here. And now I have a plan how I can deal with these suckers here. It's not a big deal actually. We're gonna move there with a read request intercept command. Oh, and by the way, we get a new card here. Okay, and then so that allows me to move there, and I'm gonna take these 2 replicants with me. So we're gonna move here now, and I count as a replicant myself, right? So I can now modify these suckers, and oh damn. So I think, oops, first of all I'm gonna use this card and modify one of those into a data node. And let me see. Yeah, I could even move further. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I can teleport a installation to my partition. That's tricky, but yeah, I don't know. I don't need one here. So I think I'll simply yeah, why not? I simply move along here now, take these guys with me, and then play these 2 cards, and they allow me then to modify one of these suckers into a virus. Shit. Yeah, great. Awesome. I have no idea where that virus was. Maybe it wasn't even a virus, could have been also a replicant. I think it was a replicant, but I don't know where it was. I'm gonna place it here. I don't know. Nah, I don't know if it was here. Shit, I have no idea where it was. I don't even know if it was a virus or a replicant. Yeah, I'm gonna remove it. I don't know where it was. Okay, anyway, it's not that important, I hope. So That's basically her action then. And now all this danger is also basically gone. So the only problem is now in this area, but that should be also possible. I think we can deal with that somehow. Okay, while doing this video, I just received a message from Ricky. He commented on my first video, which went up this morning. And I made a bunch of mistakes in this game. I mean, it's nothing too bad, but a few things were kind of important. Well, first of all, these things should not be, you should not place them like that. I don't really see why. I mean, this one, they all should face in the same direction, right? So this one is actually, this should be read as a 6 and not as a 9, you know what I mean? So this should be turned around the other way. I find it a little strange why that would be actually the case. Maybe there is a reason, I don't know. But it feels a little, you know, it's hard because of the design of these numbers. They seem all right? So these are all valid numbers in a way. I mean, that one isn't, but yeah, the artwork is a little confusing here, so I just didn't see it as on the wrong side. But okay, anyway, and the same applies, of course, to this green partition. But he said it's not a big deal, it doesn't really change anything in this specific case here. I messed up with the purchasing from the hack shack, and I did that on a regular basis. I made it much easier here than it actually was. You have to discard the cards you used, the additional cards you used. So if for an example I would have played I would have paid, let's say, 3 cards, as I did in the last turn, to buy, or even 4 cards, as I did in the last turn, to buy a specific card from the hack shack. Then I actually had to discard all the cards. I have to remove 1 card and I have to discard the other cards I used to pay with, which makes perfectly sense. And the funny thing is that I actually did that at the beginning, and then for some reason, and I don't know how I actually got into this, I started not to do this anymore because I thought I've read it somewhere. That is strange, actually. Let me see. Shop action. Huh. Yeah, because, I mean, that is kind of strange. It clearly says here, reveal cards from your hand that contain the command points necessary to pay for the cost. Take the purchased card from the hack shack and add it to your hand. Of the cards used to purchase the new ACC, choose one of the revealed cards to delete and discard. Discard the rest. There it goes. Yeah, I didn't read the last words here. Okay, well, makes sense, right? And so that's what I'm going to do in the future. I think it wasn't a big deal. I think I did that maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's it. Now, this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little penalty. I'm going to remove this thing here and throw away all his cards. So I think that kind of evens out then. Yeah, and actually at the beginning of the game, I made it, in the first scenario, I also realized I made it much harder than it actually was. The first scenario said I have to pay 1 token here of the color of the Renegade if I buy from the Hack Shack. And I interpreted it in a way that I said it has to be a token that shares the partition and the color of the Renegade, which made it definitely harder. So, you know, on the one hand I made it a little easier, on that hand I made it a little harder. Okay, 2 more points. You have to use 3 cards, not 3 symbols, to generate a wild symbol. That is also a pretty big deal. Yeah, well, okay, it's now a little late. I also don't know how often I used it. I think a few times, but okay. On the other hand, you are allowed to upload a replicant even if you share the game or if you share the partition with countermeasures. That's kind of a special ability of these replicants, and I didn't know that either. So here again I made it a little harder for myself. I don't know, I think overall it evened out. Just wanted to mention these things. And okay, but I think anyway you get a pretty good idea of the gameplay, although I kind of missed these details here. So let me see, what was my last action? I played Hetty's actions here, so now it's him, and we're gonna try to continue to erase some of these sparks here. Yeah, I think I made another mistake at the beginning of his action phase. First, the Hackman went here and deleted the sparks. Then this guy was teleported immediately here, and then it's still the start of the turn. So I think I should have placed another spark then here at the beginning of his turn, and then I went here. I think that's what actually should have happened. Okay, I'm going to use the data shift. And I'm going to move 1 space, 2 spaces. Then I will use the hologram, the execute action. Instead, teleport your avatar to any partition on the network as a move action. During move actions, I can't take contaminants with me. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab these 2 suckers and I'm going to move here. Then I'm going to play the self-modifying inhibitor, and well, actually I think I will actually move here. And then it says here, delete 1 spark on your partition. You may then add 1 replicant there if you desire. And yeah, I think I want to do that. So there we go. Things are now, I think, completely under control. Not sure what to do with this sucker. I think I'm simply going to discard. Well, I could actually also use a modify action here, and then so use that as a yellow marker, and then I'm allowed to make this here an uplink, and I think then I'm fine here. So everything seems to be under control now. Well, I'm going to use the wait a minute. I'm going to place one here. Going to use the ship here, the Nidam ship, to grab the virus and move here. Then I think I'm simply going to do an attack against the spark here. And that was a 1. So that is luckily good enough because I got a +2 modifier. It's pretty close. Actually I got a +3 modifier because of this card here. And no, that's not true. Got a +5 modifier because of my special ability. Yeah, so it's actually not close at all. And then I'm gonna basically, actually I was shopping and I grabbed the sidekick, and you can see here once again the amazing quality of the artwork. Seriously, I think actually this is one of the best artworks I've ever seen in a game. It just blows me away. I think it's fantastic. Then I'm gonna use the data scan command and move again, this time here to that space with the 3 spark, or with the 2 sparks. And I'm gonna do an attack with my sidekick. And that was also successful here. So these suckers are now also removed. And that's it. Teddy, she's got a ton of options. First she's gonna... Wait a minute. Yeah. She's gonna use this combined with that. And then she's gonna use that as a red token. By the way, we should actually flip this here. And before I do that, I will go shopping and grab the duality, which is not a bad idea. Okay, anyway, that's tricky, yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is, I'm going to use this combined with that, so basically same thing. And I'm going to play the wild symbol here as a red symbol. So I'm going to modify I'm going to modify one of these into a virus. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to use my infiltrate action or command to attack this virus here, and I hope I can do it. Or this spark there. Well, let's see. We got a +4. That should be good enough. And it is indeed. So this guy is destroyed. I'm going to use my data shift command and take the viruses with me and move on that partition. And then I'm going to do another infiltrate command and try to destroy these guys. And also no problem here. That's actually only a single guy. So we're on course here. We're doing great. So Monty Quantum sitting there on that partition. And I'm gonna modify the spark that just appeared into a virus. Then I think I'm gonna use the Ginger Cool for movement action, and hard to tell. I mean, I could simply take either these guys. It's hard to tell. Is there a risk involved? Not really, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to take the spark with me, or the virus with me, Then I'm gonna play an infiltrate action. Got a +3 modifier then. This other thing has a +1. Let's hope it's good enough. And I don't know actually. No, it isn't. Shit. That's not good enough. These two are equal, so that means the virus is destroyed. It's not a big deal, but it kind of sucks. And I guess I'm simply gonna move back then. I just know what else to do. Okay, and then we got these 2 cards left here. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna discard that one, and that's it. So we come now to the last player turn here. Okay, I did these 2. Not too much of interest happened actually. Basically, I tried to do some infections actions against sparks, and I think I fucked them all up. I had really bad rolls here. So now it's my last player turn, and it's Monty. He's sitting there. Gonna place a spark there. Not sure. I mean, it's a little anticlimactic now because it seems to me like that last action was pretty simple. Might have been wrong, but I don't think so. I'm gonna play that card and simply exchange that into a data node. So what do I want to do now? Hard to tell. I could move, for example, with these guys, grab my replicants. I don't know. I can move up to 2 spaces. I think then I'm gonna go here and try to destroy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play that card and simply make this thing a whatever. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, just make it another virus. Okay, and I think that's it. I cannot do anything of interest with the other guys. Well, actually, that's not quite true. If I make it a... Yeah, maybe I can. If I make this a... No, I can't. I think... Wait, if I make this an uplink... No, it doesn't really help. Yeah, okay. Whatever. So, at that point, I'm going to discard the others. And we come now to the countermeasure phase, the virus battle segment. Well, I don't... Well, here we see a virus battle. Oops. Oh my gosh. And that was bad. We've lost here. So that virus is destroyed. And delete contaminants segment. Okay, so this guy goes away. I think all these actually go away. I think also the installations, but that's something I want to check. All that stuff goes away. Let's see what it is with the installations. No, the installations are fine. Only guardians would in this step, or in the next step, in the delete installations segment, then the guardians that share spaces with installations, they would delete the installations. Okay, and well, but here these suckers are also lost. I think that will be a little bit negative for my points, but okay, so let's see here. we come now to the success step. Add 1 spark to each Renegade's current partition. Nom nom nom. You led that thing around the network and took advantage like a pro. Okay, so 1 spark. So we got a spark here, got a spark here, got a spark here. We survived. Scoring token step. What? What does that? Ah, we gotta, yeah. We're gonna take then our last scoring token, which we have here. And then we come to the end of game step, and this is indeed the end of game. And we have now here some kind of scoring options. We can now do a winning score here, plus 1 victory point per complete set of 5 spark tokens in the stock. Okay, let's see, we have basically only 1, plus 1 per installation on the network. So we have 4 here, so that's 5 points, plus 5 per guardian in the stock. That's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we're at 25 here. Yeah. And then we can add these suckers. So if I'm not miscalculating here, we're exactly at 100 points, which is a nice number. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the game. We made it. Great. Okay, as usual, a few words about this. And that was an interesting experience to me because, to be honest, when I first saw that game, you know, just on BGG, I thought that would be awesome because the art is just so absolutely fantastic. When I received the game, oh boy, I gotta be honest, I wasn't that excited anymore about it. The reason is, when I received it and I started playing around with it, I couldn't really connect to the theme a lot. The game felt very abstract to me. I had a lot of difficulties with the rules. And yeah, I mean, I could see that this was a well-designed game, but I thought, hey, this is just not for me. I need a game with a lot of storytelling. I usually prefer games with a lot of theme. That's why I'm more in Ameritrash or wargamey games. But that one turned me off. However, when I played that, now actually for the 3rd time, and it was just during this playthrough, I really started to enjoy that because I think it has a pretty high learning curve because the rules don't make it easy. All these game terms, they give you a really high barrier to really get into the game. You know, I mean, all these special names of the tokens, the uplink, the data node, the data ports, the neural hub, the replicants, the propagator, all that stuff. Man, this is crazy, and it's a pretty rough start for a player if he wants to get into this. But once you are beyond that point, you really start to see the beauty and the elegance of the design here. There are a lot of interesting options, and yeah, a lot of interesting ideas. These ghost mechanism, for example, is really cool. It gives you a lot of interesting strategies. I think there are a lot of things that I didn't use, in my opinion. I could have done more interesting things with the movement, I think. And in addition to that, I got to say that this computer was not a real challenge. I mean, it's obvious. It's just stage number 2 here, or difficulty number 2. So I think this could be an even more interesting game if you play against a stronger computer. But for the beginning, I thought it would be a better idea if I'm not completely fucked by the game, because you know, if you don't even know the rules really well, maybe it's a good idea to start on a lower level here. So sadly, we didn't see any of these spark explosions and some kind of chain reaction or so. Well, maybe not, sadly. I mean, it's good for me and the success of the gameplay, but it might have been more interesting to show you these things. And it had that very anticlimactic ending where I managed, I hope I did play that right. I'm still not absolutely sure about that. But I could not figure out another way. I mean, I think the rules actually allow you to do it, to destroy the firewalls the way I did that, by a ghost, and then by a ghost action, and then by a infect action. I was kind of lucky that the hackman ended up on a space with a virus. I was lucky that I ended up with the teleportation then on a space right next to a neural hub. And I was lucky that Oshinoro is such a great fighter, so one virus token was indeed enough to kill the hackman. You know, I mean, this could have been much more difficult, but yeah, I think I was really lucky there. So yeah, what can I say? I think this is a really good game. I was skeptical at the beginning, but now I think it really is a good game. And you have to make it through that challenging rulebook. It's not a bad rulebook. You know, there are no ambiguities in the rulebook. Everything is in there. There's every answer in there. This is absolutely not a bad rulebook. Problem is, it uses a ton of game terms, and you have some kind of glossary here, but the problem is that the glossary is absolutely incomplete. You have here this glossary, but if you actually would have a glossary, you need at least 2 or 3 pages to cover all the game terms, and I would love to see that. This is something that's missing here. In addition, this actions list here is helpful, no doubt, but I would love to see a better actions list, which shows also or an overall player aid, which gives you more, you know, for example, things like the upload action. It's not written here that if you upload a yellow token, or if you want to upload a replicant, then there can be countermeasures. It just says here, no countermeasures in the partition. So I was just focused on this action list, and I followed the rules written here, no countermeasures, and I completely missed the special ability of the replicants, that they can be generated also if there are countermeasures. So, you know, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, and that is not, I think many people will make that mistake, because that's why you have these this list here. You're gonna use that list, and yeah. And yeah, I would love to see a bigger list here. Maybe someone on BGG can come up with some kind of player aid or something, or maybe Ricky himself can do it, you know, which just explains the actions a little more. Also the purchase, the shop action, for example, that you have to discard the other cards. You know, these little details, it's not a lot, but a few. And also here, shift. It says here a green symbol per contaminant, spark, or flare pushed away. So honestly, I thought, and I played the first rounds with that. Well, actually, that is correct. You know, I think I played it right. What I did is I only pushed away the countermeasures and not the contaminants. But yeah, I should have. If I see that a little closer here, it's obvious that you can also push away the contaminants. Okay, fine. Well, but anyway, I would have loved to see a little better player aid here, because the rules have a lot of details and they are not easy to grasp. Apart from that, I cannot praise the artwork enough. This is really so cool. It just is, you know, every picture is really a piece of art. It is super thematic. It is just so great. And gotta be honest, while I was struggling a lot with the rules during the first turns, after a while, the theme really started to capture me, and that was simply because of the artwork. You know, I found it very hard at the beginning. I felt just like moving these pieces around, and I didn't feel like kind of a hacking action at all. But now, you know, if you do it for a while, you get into it, and then finally the art gets you, and it feels good. It's really fantastic. The graphic designer here, he did a fantastic job, no doubt about that. Okay, so yeah, I can recommend this game if you are willing to invest a little time in the rules. Don't be frightened by them too much. It's worth it. It really is. And even if you make a few mistakes, as I did, it doesn't destroy the game. I mean, it really it still plays well. You know, I did a bunch of mistakes, but the game worked well anyway. So that's also kind of cool. And yeah. Good game, congratulations, Ricky. You did a great job here. And yeah, hope to see you on my next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.